Welcome back to the cryptoworld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is playing out the Trump pump and now running into critical short-term resistance after just wiping out hundreds of millions of dollars of short positions, while Ethereum is also running into critical short-term resistance. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in this video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, just before taking a look at the Bitcoin charts today, we need to talk about the news today. And I'm sure pretty much all of you have heard by now with the Trump situation. But essentially, believe it or not, this could be some bullish news for Bitcoin, at least in the short term. And now, obviously, this is not a political channel. This is a crypto channel. So I won't go deep into detail about the whole Trump situation and all of that. So once again, if you want to check that out, look it up on another channel, for example, because this is a crypto channel. But the reason why I bring this up at all on this channel is because in the last 1 to 2 years or so, Trump has come out as more of a pro-Bitcoin candidate, which essentially means if Trump wins the presidency, that could be bullish for the price of Bitcoin. And with the recent situation that Trump was just in, of course, that boosted Trump's numbers, basically meaning that it's extremely likely that Trump will win the election for as long as he's still breathing. And that is what the market is starting to price in just now. We're actually starting to see a bit more of a bounce back to the upside just in the imminent short term here. Because once again, as I just said earlier, having a pro-Bitcoin president would of course be bullish for the price of Bitcoin, considering America's influence over the rest of the world and financial markets as the world's biggest economy. And so at least in the short term, this is actually helping to pump the price of Bitcoin at least a little bit due to the market now pricing in a potential Trump presidency. But with that being said, if we're taking a look at this 4-day time frame, at least as of right now, we have not confirmed any bearish trend reversal here in the super trend indicator on the 4-day time frame, because in order to see that confirm, we would need to see a 4-day candle close confirm below around 55.8k, which at least for now has not happened. And so technically speaking, we can still remain within the larger bullish trend, also known as the bull market, despite seeing these short-term pullbacks or short-term bearish trends along the way. And if we're taking a look at this 3-day Bitcoin chart, as of right now, the 3-day Bitcoin RSI is still sitting well below 50, but it is bouncing back to the upside, approaching 50. So at least for now, it is still, relatively speaking, a decent buying opportunity. As always, not financial advice, but just based on what we've seen here in the past, usually these are some pretty decent buying opportunities, as we've seen over the last 1 to 2 years or so. And so as I've already been saying over the last couple of weeks, personally, I am already accumulating Bitcoin, as I've been saying basically every day over the last couple of weeks. But once again, that is just my situation. That is what I'm doing right now based on this chart right here. And as always, it is not personal financial advice because I don't know your personal financial situation. And with that being said, if we're zooming into this daily Bitcoin chart, obviously the DXY is continuing this pullback to the downside, as I've been saying recently here on the channel, which is a bullish signal for Bitcoin. But just over the last 1 day, we have no new information here in the DXY, because over the last 1 day, the DXY has been closed for trading. But once again, as I've already been saying recently here on the channel, while the DXY is experiencing this major pullback, technically speaking, that is a major bullish signal for the price of Bitcoin. Because historically speaking, when we're seeing significant pullbacks or bearish trends here in the DXY, almost always, like 90 to 95% of the time, that is bullish for the price of Bitcoin in terms of the trend and momentum here on the daily time frame. And with that being said, if we're zooming into this daily Bitcoin chart, of course, we still have this bullish divergence playing out as expected, as I've been talking about basically every day over the last 1 week or so. And so, like I've been saying over the last 1 week, we're most likely going to see a bit of a bullish relief here in the short term, or at the very least, some choppy sideways price action, basically just a bit of a relief or a break from the short-term bearish trend. And so at least as of right now, we're still seeing that play out as expected, and I continue to expect this to play out for at least the next 1 to 2 days or so, potentially moving into the new week, as I said recently here on the channel. But with that being said, we cannot forget about these areas of resistance on the chart where the price is most likely going to struggle at. And as of right now, the price is running into this area of resistance, sitting in between around $60,000 to $61,000. So just keep in mind, the price will likely struggle around this area and possibly even see a bit of a short-term rejection from this area before potentially we could see more bullish price action. And personally, I'll start to flip much more bullish again in terms of the trend and momentum if we can actually confirm a breakout with a daily candle close back above around 60 to 61,000 and then actually hold that area. Ideally, if we can flip that into new support, then that would be extremely bullish for the short-term trend and momentum. And in order to be much more confident that we're really heading back into the bullish direction, back up towards the all-time highs, we ideally need to see a breakout back above around 63 to 64,000 to be much more confident that we're heading back up towards these highs. So at least for now, we still have some important obstacles that we need to jump over. But like I said, the bullish divergence is still playing out and we still have this massive bullish signal here in the DXY. And as for support, we have this area of support in between around 56 to 57,000 and this area of support in between around 51,000 to 53,000. And if we're zooming into the short term, looking at the 4-hour Bitcoin chart, what we have just seen over the last few hours is a breakout above this golden pocket area of resistance sitting in between around $59,500 to $60,000. And so technically speaking, that should be an area of support now in the short term. But if the bulls fail to hold above this area and we actually see a break back below 59,500, then in that case, the next short-term support is sitting at around 58.7K, give or take. And as for other resistance to the upside, keep in mind we're still in this area of resistance in between 60,000 to 61,000 based on previous price action here, now acting as new resistance. And if you want to actually trade these moves in the price of Bitcoin or any other crypto, personally, I take just about all of my trades over on Bybit. So I'll make sure to leave a link to Bybit down below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link down below this video to make a Bybit account and deposit on that account, then you can get up to a $30,000 deposit bonus, but only if you use that link down below this video. And also, if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here, which is a massive $100,000 lucky draw happening right now, which is only happening for the next 6 days, by the way. And so just by trading crypto using that link down below this video, you get these chances into this lucky draw where you could potentially win some free Bitcoin or Ethereum or USDT or trip to an F1 race or up to $100,000 just by trading crypto using that link. And so especially if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out. Once again, first link down below this video. But for whatever reason, if you cannot access Bybit or if you cannot KYC on Bybit, there is also Bitflex, which is another crypto exchange similar to Bybit, but you don't need KYC for Bitflex. And so I'll also make sure to leave a link to Bitflex down below this video as an alternative crypto exchange. And with that being said, if we're taking a look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, we can now see over the last 1 day, the price wiped out pretty much all of those liquidations, those positions sitting right at around 59.8K to $60,000. And obviously for the last 3 days or so, ever since the price hit this liquidity to the downside at around 56.7K, give or take, the moment we hit that liquidity, I've been saying since these lows right here, that it's extremely likely over the next couple of days, sometime soon, we're going to see the price hit around 59.8K to $60,000 very soon. And we have now seen that play out because usually the price of Bitcoin likes to move towards where we have a lot of liquidity, especially if it's close to the price. And so with that being said, now that this has played out as expected again, what are the next areas of liquidity to pay attention to? Well, first of all, we actually have a lot of liquidity now built up to the downside at around 56,500 approximately. But keep in mind that's a little bit further away from the price compared to this area of liquidity, because this area just above the price is sitting at around 60.4K to 60.8K. So we could potentially just spike up to take out that liquidity before potentially seeing a bit more of a pullback to take out the lower liquidity. Because once again, usually the price likes to go for major levels of liquidity, but oftentimes the price basically prioritizes the closer liquidity, whatever's easier to get to. And so I'll not be surprised if in the next 1 to 2 days or so, we see the price quickly grab that liquidity closer towards around 60,500, so only just above the current price. And with that being said, taking a quick look at Ethereum on this daily time frame, and right now the price of ETH is setting yet another green candle up here in a row. We've seen multiple green candles here with this bounce from this critical area of support in between around 2.8K to 2.9K. And of course, we also bounced from oversold territories here in the daily Ethereum RSI. And if we're zooming out on the daily time frame, we can see that that was that first oversold signal here in the daily Ethereum RSI that we've seen in around 300 days. And those last few times where we saw an oversold signal here in the daily Ethereum RSI, we were due to see at least some sort of break or pause from the short-term bearish trend, but most likely some sort of bounce in the short term. And so that's exactly what we're seeing play out right now. And as I've been saying over the last 1 week or so, as the most likely scenario. But in order to start flipping much more bullish again in terms of the trend and momentum here in the short term, we need to see some confirmed breakouts above key levels of resistance, like for example this 38.2% Fibonacci level of resistance sitting at around 32.50, which the price is just about running into right now. And so if we can break out above that level and ideally hold above that level with some sort of bounce from that level, confirming it as new support, then personally, I'd start to flip a lot more bullish again in terms of the short-term trend. And above that level at 32.50, the next resistance to pay attention to in the short term is sitting at around 33.90, so just below 3.4K. And of course, the golden pocket sitting in between around 35.20 to around 35.70. And if we see some sort of short-term rejection from this resistance, then in that case, we have this level of support based on previous support right here and previous resistance. And of course, the Fibonacci level of resistance sitting at around 30.80, so just below 3.1K, now acting as new support, which was previous resistance. And with that being said, if we're taking a look at the price of Solana on the 12-hour time frame, we have finally just seen a 12-hour candle close confirm above 144. So technically speaking, this is the first signal, the first confirmation signal, potentially confirming this breakout above this area of resistance. And so now it's very important for the price to simply just hold above this area as new support here, because otherwise, if we see candle closes back below 140, then in that case, that would mean we have a failed breakout or a fake out, meaning we're likely just going to drop back into this sideways price range, potentially back into this area of support, sitting in between around 120 to 128. But because we have not yet invalidated that breakout to the upside, at least for now, we're technically starting to look a little bit more bullish here in the imminent short term, talking about the next couple of days or so. And so the next resistance to the upside is starting at around 152 to 154, and we have this significant level of resistance at around 160. And overall, while the price is basically below 160 but above 120, we're essentially in a massive sideways price range, chopping around sideways in terms of the trend and momentum. We don't really have a strong trend or momentum to either direction. We're still chopping around sideways, because we actually saw very similar price action to this all the way back here around 2 to 3 months ago, where we basically saw a lot of large sideways price action, choppy sideways price action. But once again, if you want to trade these moves in the price of any crypto, check out those links down below this video to claim those extra bonuses. And if you want to actually know how to trade crypto, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or chopping around sideways like right here, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions. And the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.